Good Tuesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. But of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this Tuesday. I have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you guys are on my conversation with author Andrew Minott discussing his new book, Prove 'Em Wrong. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Tuesday headlines. In national news, U.S. defends decision to shoot down 3 unidentified objects. The White House on Monday defended the shoot-downs of 3 unidentified objects in as many days, even as it acknowledged that officials had no indication the objects were intended for surveillance in the same manner as a high-altitude Chinese balloon that traversed American airspace earlier this month. The 3 objects, including one shot down Sunday over Lake Huron, were traveling at such a low altitude as to pose a risk to civilian air traffic, said the White House National Security spokesperson. While the Biden administration does not yet have evidence that they were equipped for spying purposes or even belong to China, officials have not ruled that out, he said. These were decisions based purely and simply on what was in the best interest of the American people, Kirby said. The weeks-long succession of objects, starting with a giant white orb first detected over U.S. skies in late January, has puzzled American officials and captivated curiosity around the world. Though the 3 most recent objects differed in size, maneuverability, and other characteristics from the surveillance balloon shot down February the 4th off the Carolina coast, officials moved to eliminate each one from the sky, actions that Pentagon officials believe has no peacetime precedent. Because we have not been able to definitively access what these most recent objects are, we acted out of abundance of caution, Kirby said. One possibility that the U.S. has been able to rule out, officials said Monday, is any connection to extraterrestrial activity. Other Western nations are also trying to assess the space of incidents. The British Prime Minister said Monday that the government would do whatever it takes to protect the country as the UK announced a security review. And the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said there is some sort of pattern to the balloon and 3 other objects, though the U.S. has not echoed that claim. Kirby spoke from the White House podium hours after China alleged that more than 10 U.S. high-altitude balloons have flown in its airspace during the past year without its permission. American officials have vigorously denied the claim, with Kirby saying Monday, "We're not flying surveillance balloons over China." In more national news, Biden to visit Poland for anniversary of Ukraine war. President Joe Biden will travel to Poland this month to rally allies 1 year after Russia's assault on Ukraine began, the White House announced, as he aims to sustain a coalition that has supported Kyiv's defenses. The visit, scheduled for February the 20th through the 22nd, comes as polling in the United States and abroad suggests waning support for maintaining tens of billions of dollars worth of military and economic assistance for Ukraine in the protracted war. In addition, Republicans who recently took control of the House have voiced skepticism or outright opposition to continuing the funding. Russia, meanwhile, is believed to be planning a renewed offensive in conjunction with the anniversary and has stepped up its long-range strikes on Ukraine's military and civilian infrastructure in recent weeks. The White House press secretary said Biden would meet with the Polish president and other NATO allies in Eastern Europe to discuss his unwavering support for the alliance. In more national news, U-Haul driver's rampage in New York City leaves 8 hurt, police say. A man driving a U-Haul truck swerved onto sidewalks and plowed into scooter riders in New York City on Monday, injuring multiple people before police were able to pin the careening vehicle against a building following a miles-long pursuit. At least 8 people were hurt, 2 critically. The police commissioner described the driver's action as a violent rampage through Brooklyn, but said there was no evidence of terrorism involvement. In entertainment news, Rihanna's pregnancy reveal raises bar in all kinds of ways, says the Associated Press. When one becomes a mother, Rihanna mused before her epic Super Bowl halftime show, there's something that just happens where you feel like you can take on the world. You can do anything, she said. And so she did Sunday on one of the biggest stages in the world, live, just about 9 months after giving birth to her first child. With A$AP Rocky, while haters and stans debated Rihanna's performance, some of the former trashing the show overall, she joins a contingent of famous women to capture a cultural moment with a pregnancy reveal. And she did it while floating on a platform in a fire engine red boiler suit, zipped strategically down to reveal her substantial bump. Underneath with a matching bodysuit with a leather breastplate tied on. And finally, in business news, stocks rally ahead of hotly anticipated inflation report. Wall Street rose Monday as traders made their final moves ahead of a report that could show whether inflation is cooling in the right way or setting the market up for worse pain. The S&P 500 climbed 1.1% in anticipation of today's report on inflation at the consumer level across the country. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 377 points, or 1.1%, while the Nasdaq Composite rose 1.5%. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's on time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Your reward is still ahead. You can do it. All you have to do is have faith and never give up, and you will succeed. Have an amazing Tuesday. We are part of my conversation coming up with author Andrew Minott in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Andrew Minott joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about his inspiring new book, Prove Him Wrong, and what he hopes others learn about his life and life lessons. Here's a bit of our conversation.
But Andrew, thank you so much again for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I really appreciate being here too. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Look, the pleasure is definitely all mine. You know, you've been able to achieve so many things in your life, Andrew, but I want to talk about this new slash behind your name. I mean, people know you for music, but what has it been like for you now to be able to share your story and to carry the title of author?
Wow, it's very surreal. Even last night I was talking to someone and they were telling me congratulations, and I was like, man, it is so surreal because I've never dreamt in a million years to do a book. You know, when people said, you know, it's a kind of cliche when said it just kind of happened. Literally, it did just happen. There was never any intention of writing a book at all. You know, but, you know, it's been good though. It's been good.
And I think the other thing about your story, Andrew, and what I love too, I mean, there's a lot of history in this book. You're able to take, you know, we've all heard that saying, Andrew, a picture's worth 1,000 words. You give us the pictures from different chapters of your life. So when you kind of look back on it, did it seem like it was inevitable, though, that you would want to tell your story because of the things you've been able to experience and what you've been able to learn?
Yes, you know, looking back, I think it's going to be a great thing that people can actually learn from it, because I've always been that type of person to like try to help others and teach others. But I've also been a very private person. So my whole life is on front page right now, you know, so it's something that I've never done. I've always been behind the scenes. Even when I did concerts and huge events, I stayed behind the scenes because I was never like an upfront person. Instead of being on the stage, I'd be behind the stage. So that was always me. But looking back and reading the book over and getting a feel for it, I get emotional even reading my own story because I never intended for this to happen.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversations Daily News, but we have to us on tomorrow with more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course, your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Now let's go make it a good one.